Okay, so I just wanted to add my 2 cents in related to the discussion on the fires in California and the coastal living. Because under normal conditions, coastal living, you deal with sea rot. And this is where we have moisture coming in from the ocean. It's probably a little bit more excessive moisture than what you would have in other parts of the United States that can be a little bit drier climate because there's not as big of a body of water. And so the sea rot affects the housing a little bit differently. It does cause mold spores. It's not that you're not going to get that in other places, it's just that it's going to affect the conditions of living a little bit more and a little bit differently related to houses built on the coastline. And I think we can all agree that people, well, we've had a romanced idea of retiring and living next to the coastline, with the shows from the 1990s and 80s, the Golden Girls, and people moving to Florida to retire because they said it was so inexpensive. Even though, when you look at the Golden Girls, they were all living together, and they were always expressing that it was too expensive for their mom to live in assisted living, if it even existed at that time. So they were doing the best. Well, she did. Rose did live in there for a little bit, but I have actually lived on both coasts of the United States, and you also have the bubbling up of the of the earth. If I am not even sure how to explain this. This is where the coastal waters will come in, and it raises the level of moisture in the land. And so, for example, when we have drier times, the land gets kind of like concrete because it's a clay sediment base. There's more clay and sand than there is actual dirt on the coastline. And so when it's drier, it will become like concrete, and it will contract and shrink down lower. And then when we have heavy rains, then the clay will absorb the water, and it will kind of puff up like a marshmallow and get larger. And this is where you see in driveways, where you have cracked driveways of houses that are new, relatively new, like maybe 5, 10 years old. You have cracked driveways. Well, of course, that's going to create cracks in the foundation of the houses, and just completely alter the structure of the house on the coastal lands, no matter